lying down in a position that works for you, just closing out the eyes. So getting into your space, getting prepared for the next hour of your practice. How do we do that? So perhaps scanning through the body. So making that connection with your body. How are you feeling this morning? It's early morning. It could be that you're feeling a little bit tight. You might have just got out of bed. Might have had a busy week. So your body might be feeling tired. Or you might be like a super early morning person and kind of wake up and be like, yeah, and be feeling really, really great, like really loose, really open with your body. So let's just take a minute to take a little journey around your body. So the lower body, the upper body, even around to the back of the head, the neck. Just trying to make that connection. Just delving a little deeper for sensations. Making any adjustments if you need to. So you might find as you exhale and just soften slightly, the body becomes wider in a sense, so more relaxed. And bringing awareness, settling it just up in the mind space. So how are you feeling there? So it's important to kind of have a check-in. Maybe when you wake up, before you go to bed, throughout the day. Like, you know, how am I feeling? There's a lot going on right now. And that doesn't have to be a description in words. It doesn't have to be that something is positive and something is negative. It could just be, you know, it just is. This is just an emotion. I'm just experiencing it. It's part of the larger circle of emotions, the ebb and flow of life. But then reminding yourself that you do have the freedom to just allow that to be let go of for the next hour. So this is your time. So try and do that by connecting with the breath. So the breath is a perfect anchor. And how does your breath feel? So do you feel like you're forcing breath, or the breath is quite natural? Do you feel like you might want a couple of deeper inhales and exhales? You know, you might want a sighing breath, or just like a big kind of breath. If that's what you're feeling like this morning. And then settling on natural breath and the sensation of that. So where can you feel that most? It could be in the body somewhere, the belly, maybe the lower ribs. It might be in the nostrils, excuse me. Might just be gentle breath out of the mouth. So breathe in a way that feels comfortable for you. No point trying to, you know, like force Ujjayi breath or any type of special breath if that doesn't work. And ending 1 month soon, so ending one cycle, beginning the next. Might all be breathing a sigh of relief at the end of January. So just having a moment to think about maybe anything that you're happy to leave behind, or any intention that you are planting the seed of for February. Maybe both. And then let's come to meet lying down on our back. So just making your way there if you're on your side or seated nice and slowly. We'll bend the knees, place the feet to the earth. So the whole of the back can be flat to the earth. Slightly tuck the chin to the chest. Oh, I've had my window open this morning in my room before I was practicing and my mat's freezing cold. Oh, that was a wake up. Let's just lift the fingertips up towards the sky as we inhale, and then slowly as we inhale and exhale, take in some circles through the wrists. So just a wake up call for the fingertips, maybe stretching and releasing. And rotating the wrists in both directions. Inhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky, lift the shoulders away from the earth. And then as you exhale, slowly relax the arms back down by the side of the body. As you next inhale, drop the knees in towards the chest. Maybe they need to go a little bit wider. And as you exhale, stretching the toes up towards the sky. Don't have to stretch completely through the back of the legs. Just separating and then squeezing the toes together, having a wiggle, taking some circles with the ankles in both directions. Take an inhale, just reaching up through the toes, but be mindful of the hamstrings. As you exhale, bend the knees, plant the soles of the feet down about hip distance apart, still with the chin to the chest. Keep that strength through the lower body, so knees directed up towards the sky. Press through the palms as you inhale, just coming up into a gentle bridge. So see how you feel. Let's take a couple of breaths there. Spreading the toes and pressing the toes down onto the ground. It might even just be a little bit of a pelvic tilt, a pelvic lift for you this morning. As we exhale, just rolling all the way back down. Stepping the feet out to the width of the mat, letting the knees rest and knock in on each other. You could take the arms wider. You might just want to take the elbows wider and rest the hands on the belly. As you take the knees from side to side, so drifting them over to the right, over to the left. Try and flow that with your breath as well. So the inhale is the center of the body and the exhales are either side. And then nice and gently, once you come over to the right hand side, just adjust the position slightly and roll onto the side of the body, resting the head onto the earth, or maybe you make a little pillow with the hands, just closing the eyes. You might even be hugging yourself, like lately I've been giving myself a lot of hugs. So you might just be gently wrapping the arms around the body. Just breathe in there. Gently pressing through the left hand, the right arm if you need to, pushing yourself up. Let's find a seated position with a nice tall spine. So if you need that block, that pillow, that little bit of lift to just tilt you forwards, take that. Pressing the sit bones down, feel the rise of the head, so crown of the head to the sky and the softening of the shoulders. Let's bring the hands then into prayer, just gazing forwards. As we inhale, we might lift the gaze up as we lift the prayer. As we exhale, sweeping the hands wide, bringing the gaze back to center. Inhale, we might travel the gaze up towards the thumbs as we find prayer. And exhale, we might take a little bow down as we drop it to the heart space. Take two more like that. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, and taking that final one just in your own breath. Softening the shoulders, softening the face. Let's take it into a twist. So an inhale to lift the prayer, separate the hands, palms forwards. As we exhale, we're opening to that right hand side. So before we try and just throw ourselves into a twist, take an inhale, press through the right fingertips, lift the spine, and then exhale. So the movement really is just from the low rib cage up into the chest. The gaze can drift to wherever you feel comfortable. Check in that we can breathe fully there. So if you feel like the breath's shortened, then perhaps we just take the twist a little bit back round to center, allow that space for breath. Then lead with the head and neck first as we unravel. Inhale, lifting back to center, palms forwards. Stretch through the side of the body as we exhale, coming to the left. So find your seat, find the length with an inhale, then just that little guidance of the left shoulder back as you exhale. So we don't need to be like using this right hand to pull us round. I feel like if the body is not naturally prepared to go there, then that's fine. Let's take an inhale, sweeping back round to center, palms forward. Exhale to fold forward. So push the seat away. Just find the palms down on the earth. Maybe then relax the gaze, stay there. Or inhale, actively lift the chest, draw the shoulders back. As you exhale, you can let the spine be round as you walk the hands forwards. So keeping the seat to the earth. If you notice that you've kind of lifted the seat away, maybe walk back in towards the body slightly. Softening through the head and neck. You could take a little pendulum, so just taking the head and neck from side to side, if that feels comfortable, just thinking of a pendulum and a clock there. And then let's inhale to come all the way back up, so head first or head last, what works for you. Just take a big exhale, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, sweep the arms back up, palms forwards. Exhale into that lateral stretch. So the palm turns towards the ground. That right shoulder draws back as we open up through the chest. And any variations here that you like, using a block under the left hand, reaching away. You could relax the hand on the back of the head. Keeping that right knee down to the right hand side. Let's press through left, take an inhale, sweep back up, bring the palms to center, soften the shoulders as we exhale, just releasing to that opposite side. Draw that left shoulder back, so find that position that works. And then, if there's space, try and take it on the exhale. So an inhale is generally, for a lift, a lengthen, finding the space. The exhale, that relaxing into the space. Press down through right hand as we inhale, come back to center, hands in prayer. As we exhale, just taking a bow down as we bring the hands to the heart center, closing the eyes, softening the face and the shoulders. Let's just journey back to the flow of breath. So always guiding ourselves back to presence, whether that is the breath, whether that's an intention or a mantra that you have, or the sensation of the body. Some way of keeping yourself in the practice. We spend enough time, in our heads and out in this crazy world. So let's just spend this hour together on our mat. Gently lifting the gaze, open the eyes, finding your way onto your hands and knees. So nice and slowly, even there is a chance to be present and be mindful, just planting the hands down, noticing the spread of the fingers. The shoulders over the wrists or maybe a little bit behind, so you can even see, if you look at the wrist, the crease that you make in the top of the wrist, dependent on where the shoulders are. The hips and the knees in line, gently placing the tops of the feet down, maybe a little push through the big toes, and then a push through the hands just to lift the low belly up slightly. So rather than, like, my natural position is just a saggy back, to be honest, not a technical term. If I push through the hands and consciously suck my belly in a little bit, there's real strength to be had there through the core of the body. Let's tuck the toes onto the mat. Bringing the heels towards the midline of the mat. So if naturally your feet flop out to either side, just turning the heels towards the midline of the mat, find strength. Push the seat back towards the heels. Let's inhale to come all the way forward, shoulders towards the wrists, pressing into the hands. Exhale, just to take the seat back towards the heels, pushing into the soles of the feet. Inhale, coming forwards. And exhale, pushing back. Just holding it there for a couple of breaths. So keeping the head and neck active, but the gaze could go down towards the ground. So we've got this nice full length in the arms, representation of where our arms should be in our downward facing dog if we can. Let's inhale, come all the way back to center. Dropping the tops of the feet down onto the earth, take an exhale. Keep that core strong. Inhale, lifting into our cow position, tailbone high, chest forwards. Exhale, pushing round into our cat. Inhale, back through to cow. So feeling that strength through the arms. As we exhale, feeling that real suck upwards of the belly. One more, inhale. And exhale. Taking an inhale, coming back to neutral, tucking back onto the toes again as we exhale, push the seat to the heels. Keeping the heels nice and strong as we press through the hands, lift the knees, push the seat back. Take a nice big inhale, just hold it there. And as we exhale, seat goes back and all the way up, adjust the feet, try not to adjust the hands, downward facing dog. So we've already made a nice foundation with the hands, we'll just adjust the feet. How do you feel like moving there? So you might just feel like a bit of stillness, or maybe you need a bit of a wiggle. So you could be lifting up onto the toes, shifting the body weight forwards if you're practicing strengthening the arms and the wrists. Maybe you're just kind of lulling the seat from side to side. If you prefer to do this in tabletop, equally, you can do it in tabletop. And then pushing the seat nice and high or strengthening through the core of the body if you're in tabletop. So let the head be heavy. Take a couple of deep breaths. As we inhale, start to shift the gaze forwards and the body weight forwards, so shoulders come towards the wrists. Exhale, stepping the toes to the backs of the wrists, as many steps as you need. Feet hip distance apart. Let's take an inhale and slide into our halfway lift. So you could be on blocks. The fingertips could be to the earth. They could be on shins. They could be on knees. Looking for a nice flat back. That suck of the belly up into the lower back and drawing the shoulders back. The head is active here. Just holding it here. You can soften the knees. You don't have to straighten through the backs of the legs or not, lock the knees out. So feeling engaged. If you're not, then maybe asking yourself what you could do to help you feel a little bit more engaged. Take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, start to soften down. So soften the knees here, lay the belly down. You can take the feet a little bit wider towards the edge of the mat if that feels more comfortable, there's more space. Let the head just be heavy. So crown of the head directs towards the earth. Doesn't mean actually touches the earth, but that's the direction. Maybe like your downward dog, you just want stillness. Or maybe you want a bit of a move out. So try to move with the breath if you can. So we inhale at center, maybe exhale, just shift to one side. Inhale to center, exhale to the other. Feeling the weight through the feet, maybe the hands, the heaviness of the head. If that's not working for you, if it's making you feel dizzy, just lift the gaze up slightly. So still checking we can breathe there. Pressing down through the soles of the feet, finding stillness. Take as many breaths as you need. Try and start on an inhale though, as you roll yourself up, but you could always lift your gaze if you feel dizzy. So strengthening through the legs, coming to the top of the mat eventually. Lifting the shoulders up and back as you exhale, open the chest, stepping your feet to whatever your comfortable distance is for Tadasana. So that could be together, that could be hip distance, you might go wider. Just gazing forwards for a moment, find a drishti point, so a point of focus. Then gently close the eyes. Feel the muscles of the face soften. If you're clenching the teeth, good tip is to just gently open the lips. Just unclench the jaw. Allowing the shoulders to be soft, but maybe the fingertips are a little bit more active. So I have a light curl in my fingertips. Sometimes I direct the fingertips towards the ground. So whatever you feel like works for you this morning. Just rounding that tailbone in and under. So it feels like a bit of a clench of the bum cheeks and a push of energy or strength into the quads. Maybe separating the toes as you lift them away from the mat, then gently placing them back down, being aware of the grounding through the soles of the feet And the light lift up through the crown of the head as you breathe here. So what does it feel like to breathe in that standing up position, as opposed to seated or laying on there? If you lose, if you lose your mind, don't mean it like that. If you lose your focus on your practice, then what can you do to draw it back in? Is it the breath? Is it an intention? Is it bringing your attention to the soles of the feet? Gently blink the eyes open. So keeping your gaze on your drishti point just for a moment, feeling that strength of body. Then bringing the hands into prayer. Taking an inhale, raise that prayer up, look to the thumbs. You might even soften the knees and just take a little tiny back bend there. As you exhale, sweeping the prayer down the midline of the body, releasing the hands, taking the fingertips down to the earth. Take an inhale, find that strength in halfway lift. As you exhale, soften and come into your forward fold. Press through the feet as we inhale. Let's sweep the arms wide as we lift up through the body. Find that prayer, perhaps a little bit of a back bend, don't force it. And as we exhale, hands to prayer, just lowering the gaze to the heart center or closing the eyes, half sun salutation. So we're going to take 2 more like that. Blinking the eyes open, lengthening through the back of the neck. Take an inhale, lift that prayer, optional back bend. Exhale, prayer down the center of the body. Follow it with your gaze to the earth, fingertips down. Inhale to lift, strengthen, lengthen through the back. Exhale, passive fold. Press through the feet as you inhale, sweeping wide, lifting the gaze, perhaps that little back bend. Exhale, following down to the heart space with the prayers. Just take a breath in between. Lifting the gaze forwards, take one now in your own breath. So we're all going to be breathing slightly differently, starting on your inhale when you lift that prayer. Softening the face and the shoulders, closing the eyes, holding that prayer at the heart center. Let's take an inhale, lift that prayer once more to the sky. As we exhale, draw it down the center of the body. Soften the knees so much so that you can get the hands down onto the earth here. And then slowly walk back to find your downward facing dog. So feet hip distance. If you need the space or it just feels nicer on your back, maybe take them wider. Let the head be heavy, push the seat high. Let's find a few breaths of stillness. Pressing down through that left foot, take an inhale, lift the right toes to the sky. As you exhale, perhaps open up through that right hip and chest, finding split dog. Inhale as we draw that knee back to center. And exhale as we step the foot through. Right foot comes through, left knee drops down. So adjust here if you need to, like, we're not going to always step through, or if it's me, never step through to find the right position. Relax that back foot down. Press through right foot. Inhale, sweeping the body forward, then pressing through the foot and coming all the way up into your Anjaneyasana low lunge. You could gaze forwards. You could enter into a little back bend here, but a back bend is not kind of just throwing weight into the back. It's this lift of the ribs and the chest. So drawing the arms back and then lifting through the ribs. So find that if that works for you. If not, then we're just taking that central focus forwards. Let's press down through the right foot as we inhale, lift back to a central position in our lunge. As we exhale, plant the hands down. Inhale to lift onto the fingertips, lift the chest forwards. Take an exhale there. Then tuck the back toes, lift that back knee. Plant the hands down, inhale. Exhale, step to your plank position. Or if you want to modify with me, then taking the knees to the earth. So the knees are going to be behind the hips. We've still got that heavy press into the shoulders and the wrists. In any position that you're in plank, suck the tummy into the low back. So we don't want that kind of saggy back position. Let's drop the knees and the tops of the feet to the earth. Take an inhale, slightly allow for the pelvis to move forwards here. Then as you exhale, bend the elbows in towards the body, lowering down onto the belly. Inhale, lifting, rolling the shoulders back. Tuck the toes. As you exhale, push the seat back towards the heels, keeping the heels to the midline of the body, elbows lifted, gaze down. Then releasing the knees to the distance of the mat, bringing the big toes to touch. Let's sit down onto the heels and find our child's pose. So we're going to take 1 minute of rest here. So really finding nice comfy position. If you need something under the head, pop something under the head. Closing the eyes. And you might even feel like you want to take a big deep breath here. So often these positions where we're coming down to the ground, we're closing in towards the heart space. You just feel like a kind of breath. And what can we do here to keep ourselves present? So is there a part of the body that we take the attention to? Are we just watching the breath, following the breath? Now are we bringing an intention to mind, a mantra? I am here, I am present, I am grounded. And you're more than welcome to stay in your child's pose position for a little while longer. That's what your body, your mind is telling you that you need this morning, then hey, go for it. Or if you want to come out of your child's pose, just gently inhaling, lifting the body forward, set yourself back up into that tabletop position. Find strength through the core of the body, tuck the toes onto the mat, heels turning in towards the midline. Push the seat back towards the heel as you exhale. Inhale, just traveling the body forward, keeping the core nice and strong. Exhale, seat pushes back to the heels. Inhale, coming forwards, nice and slowly. As you exhale, seat pushes back to the heels, just holding it there. Making sure we've got enough length and space through the arms. Pressing through the feet, lifting the knees away from the mat, seat pushes back. Take an inhale there. As you exhale, lift the seat nice and high, let the head be heavy, downward facing dog. Press through right foot as you inhale, lift the left toes. As you exhale, turn and open through that left side if you wish, finding your split dog position. Slow inhale to bring that knee back to center. As you exhale, step it through. Drop that right knee down, release the foot. Making any little adjustments, you can grab the heel and pull it through to help you come through to that position. Pressing through that left foot as you inhale, sweeping forwards, then press and lift up, soften the shoulders. Sometimes benefits to take the arms a little bit wider. Maybe coming into that back bend if that's your choice. So we don't have to, we could just focus the gaze forwards. Finding the breath. Let's take an inhale, lifting, coming back to center. So we press through that left foot as we exhale, coming down to the ground. Inhale, lift onto the fingertips, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, plant the hands down, tuck the back toes, lift that back knee. Stepping back to find your plank or your modified version. And if you have a preferred vinyasa, so maybe half chaturanga or a full chaturanga, let's take an inhale, and then as you exhale, slowly take that. An inhale to lift into your preferred back bend, maybe squeezing the bum cheeks. As you exhale, push the seat to the heels. Just taking more of that active child's pose position. Then walking the hands back in towards you. You're going to come to stand at the back of the mat from here. So pressing through the hands, lifting and stepping the feet onto the mat. We're in a forward fold position. Let's take an inhale, make it active, Ardha Uttanasana. Sucking that belly up. As we exhale, folding the body forwards. Just softening, softening. And then as we inhale in the way that works best for you, rising up. So feel that strength through the feet as you rise up through the body. Take an exhale, just rolling the shoulders back. Taking your feet to whatever is your distance. Just finding a focus point forwards, finding that little bit of balance. And then closing the eyes. So what adjustments could we make here? Looking for that strength through the lower body, but softness through upper body. So they could be, like the most subtle little adjustments, just spreading the toes or taking our attention to the feet, lengthening through the back of the neck. Might make you feel stronger to lengthen through the fingers, who knows? Breathe in there. Let's gently blink the eyes open. Stepping the feet slightly close together. Press down through the feet, like really feel that lift up through the body. And bringing the hands onto the hips or the hands into prayer, your choice, whatever you prefer. Let's take an inhale, and as we exhale, just sit into a gentle version of our chair pose. So we want to be able to see the toes. We feel like the weight is distributed into the heels, but that doesn't mean that the toes lift forwards, and the chest stays nice and open. Pressing down through that left foot, let's slowly take that right thigh over the left, so squeezing it there. You could drop the toes towards the earth on that left side. You might have a block that you could balance on. You could point them backwards. You could double wrap. Just gazing forwards here, trying to sink low, but without letting the chest go forward. That's the second variation in a moment. If you feel like your balance is okay, maybe you release the hands, the palms face towards the ground and the fingertips go backwards as you gently start to tip yourself forwards. So keep the neck nice and engaged, finding a drishti point on the earth. Nice. Let's take an inhale, start to travel back up. As we exhale, just releasing that foot, shaking out through the body if you need to. Returning to Tadasana, just closing the eyes. Blinking the eyes open, hands on hips or prayer. Inhale, exhale, finding that chair position that works for you. So feeling strength through the lower body. Press through right, crossing left. However works for you. Stay there, or taking the arms behind you, drawing the shoulder blades together as you start to fold the body forwards. As we inhale, start to rise back up. As you exhale, just step and release. Inhale, sweep the hands up into prayer, look to the thumbs. Exhale, down the midline of the body. Releasing the hands down to the earth. Walking yourself forwards nice and slowly to find a downward facing dog. If you'd rather, find a tabletop. Take an inhale, move the body forward. Drop that left knee down, step the right foot through. Finding our low lunge once more. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, sweep to the right. Inhale, return to center. And sweep to the left. So how does that feel different? Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale to the right once more and holding it there. Option to tuck the back toes, lift that back knee, push the heel away. Or stay with that back knee down. Let's take an inhale, turn back to center. Drop the back knee if you need to, or keep it lifted. Then as we exhale, drop the knee, bring the hands inside that right foot, just shimmy the right foot over to the right edge of the mat. If you feel there's space, slide that left knee back slightly, maybe support the knee with a blanket. Have a prop if you want to. Let's take an inhale, press some weight, some load into that right foot, lift and look forwards. Then as you exhale, keep that load pressed into the right side, starting to stretch into the left side as we fold the body forwards. Finding our lizard or dragon. Just softening the shoulders, softening the head. Let's inhale, lifting all the way back up. Stay there or press down through the left hand. Exhale and sweep that right hand back behind you. So this time, that right knee might just itself drift out to the side to accommodate for space. If you like, if you know a version where you can grab the inner edge of that left foot behind you without kind of hurting your knee too much, then take that variation. Releasing the foot, let's take an inhale. And as we exhale, turn the body back to center, turn those right toes inwards, press the hands down into the earth, tuck the back toe, lift that back knee. Let's stride back into a downward facing dog. Just stretching out through the legs, through the back of the body. Have a wiggle and a move if you need to. Then take an inhale, moving the body forwards as we exhale. Right knee goes down, left foot steps through. Releasing the right toes to the earth, taking your time. Inhale, sweeping up to find your lunge position. Exhale, turning to the left. Inhale, sweeping to center. Exhale, turning to the right, seeing how that feels. Inhale back to center. Exhale, just softening the shoulders. Inhale, reach up through the body as you exhale, nice expanse of the arms, perhaps taking your higher lunge position. I'm going to stay in lower lunge, so you're welcome to stay there with me. Take an inhale, return into center. Keep that back knee lifted if you want to. And then as you exhale, drop the knee, bring the hands down inside that left foot, just shimmying it over to the left side. For now, the toes can stay forward. The knee over the ankle gives a nice strong position. Use a prop if you need to. Slide that right knee back if you feel it's appropriate. Take an inhale again, just think about finding that space. Then as you exhale, slowly bringing yourself down. So try not to grapple to get down towards the earth. If anything, you could be reaching forwards to keep length through the body. Just softening with the exhales. As you inhale, start to lift the body up. Place that right hand down as you exhale, sweeping behind you with left. Maybe naturally turning that left side out. Again, if you like it, if it's a variation for you, I really struggle with my right foot here. Then you could grab hold of that back foot. Let's take an inhale. As we exhale, start to turn everything back to center, removing any props, planting the hands down, stepping back into our last downward facing dog. So if you're feeling a little bit tired, just knowing that's natural, but really finding the best downward facing dog that you can. Letting the head be heavy, powering through the arms and the legs, breathing here. Let's start to move the body forwards, shoulders and wrists in line, then drop down onto the knees to find a tabletop position. Separating the knees, sliding the big toes to touch. Sit the seat down onto the heels. Just take a little inhale there. And then as you exhale, settling yourself down back into Balasana, into your child's pose. So we're going to take another minute here. So again, if you need to, find little bits and bobs for comfort. Maybe taking a big exhale. And softening here. So this is more of a restorative kind of pose, not completely, but more restorative than others. So where can you soften? Through the face, the shoulders, the elbows, the tips of the fingers, all the way down the spine into the seat. Last couple of breaths. You're welcome to stay there for a little bit longer. Or start to slowly just lift yourself up. If it's suitable for you, cross the ankles behind you, walk the hands in, like for me it comes to about the knees, and just flip yourself over to find Sukhasana. So using anything you need under the seat, anything you want underneath the legs. Sitting nice and tall. Let's take an inhale, sweep the arms out, lift the chest up and forwards, lift the gaze slightly. Then as we exhale, rounding the spine back and out, just tucking the chin to the chest, hugging ourselves inwards. So hands on shoulders, cat and cow variation. Inhale, take that open out, feel the expanse. Exhale, just closing in on your heart space. Let's take 2 more like that. Inhaling, shoulder blades draw together, lifting heart space. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Just holding it there. Maybe if you need it, just giving yourself an extra tight little squeeze. Gently lifting the gaze, releasing the arms, taking the legs out to a nice wide diamond shape into our Baddha Konasana. And again, you might want to sit on something here. Growing tall through the spine, just touching the feet, the soles of the feet in whatever way works for you, softening the shoulders. And then see how you feel. Maybe you feel like you could bring the heels in a little bit closer. Remember, you can always use blocks. So if you don't really want the knees to fall any further with gravity, then just place some blocks. And then let's move it into a forward fold position. So keeping the spine, the lower spine long just for a moment as we inhale, exhale, long lower spine, gazing beyond the mat. Then if you have any lower back issues, maybe keep your spine long, just release the hands to wherever's comfortable, keep a bit more activity through the spine. If you feel okay, as you exhale, you might start to soften and round through the upper spine, slightly through mid-spine, and let the crown of the head just release down towards the ground. And invite that softness through the face, through the shoulders. Just closing the eyes wherever you are, so letting go if you know what the shape looks like, what your body might look like when it's in it. Just feeling what the shape feels like, what your breath feels like. And you can raise up with a roundness to the spine or keep that back flat, depends how you feel here, what's best for you. As you inhale, start to lift all the way up. As you exhale, just roll the shoulders back, use the hands, close the knees, plant the soles of the feet down about hip distance apart. If you need a little sip of your drink, then have a sip of your drink. And we're going to take a couple of final asanas on the mat if you want to, but just take anything down with you. So if you know that you will want a blanket or a cushion, you can either just literally shimmy yourself down, or if you want to have a little bit of tiny work through the core there, bringing the arms out, palms facing inwards, glue your toes to the earth. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, just slowly coming down. There will be a point where everything tightens around the abdominal region, maybe holding there. Inhale, and then exhale. And crossing that left thigh over the right. So thinking back to our eagle legs, Garudasana legs. Either just taking that one cross of left over right with a little bit of an active squeeze, or lifting the toes away from the earth, wrapping that left foot behind the right calf, your choice. You could take the arms wider, or you might just prefer them on the body. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, dropping it over to the right hand side. If you need to unravel the legs, please unravel the legs. So it might just go to one cross. You might end up just stacking the left on top of the right, keeping that left shoulder down towards the earth as best you can. So as always, respond to your body. Something doesn't feel quite right. And you're welcome to unravel, to come back to center if you wish, or just turn in the gaze as you inhale, lifting the knees, then exhale, gently unraveling. Switching sides, so right over left. And you know, it's worth trying things on both sides because sometimes one side is different to the other. In your own time, taking an inhale, and as you exhale, leading yourself over to the left-hand side. So nice and slowly respond along the way. If something feels tight, it's pulling, it's like, oh, that's not really pleasant for me. Don't stay there, you know. You don't want an unpleasant experience in yoga. Just settling down. If that doesn't work, just come into your supine twist with both legs on top of each other. Charlotte's doing a beautiful version of one of my nemesis asanas, fire log pose. And then when you feel ready to, lead in the gaze, the knees back to center, or just uncrossing the legs. If you feel like you need a little shake out through the legs after that kind of twisting and, you know, these funny shapes that we put ourselves in yoga. They do have benefits, I promise. And then any other final asana or complete non-asana that is just, you know, like, oh, I like this bit of movement. Like, I just like rolling around on my mat, if I'm honest. A lot of the time, that's my yoga practice. Maybe popping any layers on. If you need some socks, a jumper. So getting yourself nice and cozy. And then find Shavasana in the way that it works for you. So, you know, what is that? Is it lying on your back? Is it lying on your side? Is it using hundreds of props? Or, you know, maybe you just prefer one prop. So it's all about you, about your comfort. How will you feel most safe, most nurtured, most comfortable for your Shavasana? And if there's anything that's come to mind that is not to do with you and your practice right now, take a nice big inhale, and as you exhale, just let it be free. So returning back in full circle to kind of the beginning of the practice, back to rest, back to awareness of your space. Awareness of your body as it just starts to rest down onto the earth. With each exhale, maybe gently expanding outwards as it softens, just feels like melting down. So no need for grasping or holding any parts of the body. Releasing mental effort, no need for grasping in the mind either. And allowing the breath to just be natural so it knows what it's doing. Just let it be free. Perhaps if you're finding Shavasana a little bit tricky this morning, then just knowing that's normal. Where could you focus your attention to keep you present? Is there a mantra, a part of the body that you could practice breathing into? So you do what you need to do to make the experience yours. As we just take a couple of minutes of well-deserved rest. So keeping the body still if you can, just drawing your attention back to your breath. So maybe just a natural breath, or maybe to this urge of having a couple of deeper breaths, sighing breath again. You know, if it feels right for you, you just have like a kind of breath, like a release breath, nice cleansing. And then to the body. How's the body feeling? You're welcome to stay where you are. You know, if you just feel like, I'm nice and comfy and cozy, maybe just give me a little wave to let me know that you're okay where you are. We'll start to move in a way that feels reactive to your body and your experience. So do you want to stretch out? Do you want to hug inwards? Do you want to just have a roll around? So doing whatever you feel works for you. So rolling onto the side of your body eventually. So either side, whatever you're led to. And if you are joining me in a seated position, then just slowly making your way up to that seated position. And even there with the eyes closed, you notice they're a little bit like more wiggly and stretchiness that needs to happen. Or we just want to give ourselves a nice hug again. And then coming back to a nice neutral spine, just bringing the hands into prayer, closing the eyes, feeling the breath there. As we next exhale, taking a little bow down. So just a bow, a thank you to our body, our breath, our mind, and of course to each other for sharing our practice this morning. And thank you as always so much for joining me. I hope you have a lovely rest of your Sunday. The light and dark in me honors the light and dark within you. Namaste.